710 Squared is the second cannabis branding agency in the state of Maryland, and we're the first minority owned branding agency. The first agency is a woman's owned branding agency. So again, we also see ourselves as pioneers. And again, even with this show, I've had so many people come up to me, send us messages and about how they like what we're talking about and how it's educating them. And again, there's that word again, education. But from a branding perspective, what I see becoming the issue, whether it's dispensaries, whether it's ancillary services, that word differentiation, which we deal with a lot in branding, when everybody's jumping into something, the question now becomes, why do I buy from you? CBD, right. I saw it at CVS. I've heard about it being in grocery store, not grocery stores, gas stations. So again, now it's becoming so ubiquitous. And right. The question now becomes, okay, well, you see people, I sell CBD products or CBD infused products. Okay, well, why should I pick you? And
so, I mean,
go ahead.
And I think our differentiator is the fact that this is truly for us, by us. Like I have program and educational training material that is for minorities, and it's coming from minorities. And there aren't too many outlets like that in the nation right now, let alone Maryland.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is awesome, but I think also to strengthen that, for those listeners who are either in the industry or thinking about getting into the industry, developing a strong brand strategy, which starts with, of course, your vision. Where do you want to go? This will, of course, look to your future goals. Developing a mission. How will you get there? Will the mission support the vision? And then the big idea. This is often used as the company's, of course, tagline, which indicates action. Once the big idea is selected, it acts as a theme. For example, like BMW's theme is the ultimate driving machine. So if you're a dispensary, what's your theme? What's your big idea besides the fact that you dispense cannabis? Next, of course, is your core values. If you had to choose multiple values that accurately represent the brand, what would they be? Are you innovative? Are you cool? Are you avant-garde? What are your values? These are things a lot of people don't think about. And then your brand promise. A brand at the end of the day is a promise. So besides, of course, deducing what that is, how do you plan to keep it once you deduce what it is? And then lastly, target audience and key markets. Everybody will say, my audience is everybody's interested in cannabis. Well, there's so many different segmentations or segments of an audience. Are you into the medical side? So again, with the patients, and even the medical side, you say, okay, well, I'm medical and I'm patients. What type of patients? Are you looking at veterans? Are you looking at people with serious medical ailments like fibromyalgia? And okay, well, we have specific types of cannabis products that could help all those different segments. Or are you looking more for the stoner guy who he just likes getting stoned and he wants his different options, whether it's his dabs or his leafs or whatever. So again, segmenting and having customer profiles and knowing who your users are. Where do these people live? What do they do? How much do they make? What are their personalities? What type of stuff do they indulge in? All these are things that a lot of people don't think about when they talk about the branding process. Most people just associate it with visual identity, which is a small piece of what a brand is. You have the name, you have the story, you have the personality, you even have the language, the imagery, the style guide, the voice. People are like, well, I was like, what does your brand sound like? And people look at me like, what do you mean? I said, if your brand was a person, what would it sound like? What kind of personality would it have? And these are things for those who are listening that you have to now think about if you get past the application process, if you're going in that direction, or if you're in the ancillary service business. there's going to be a lot of competition. We're still at the tail end of what I call cannabis prohibition, and it's the federal side that I think that's holding a lot of people holding the floodgates closed. But once that opens, which will eventually happen, how do you plan on differentiating yourself? And the only way to do that is by building a brand. You know, for example,
Right.
Disney employees are called cast members. Disney followers are called what? Mouseketeers. So,
Right.
what is Disney at the end of the day? I mean, Disney is more than a theme park, but when you compare it to Six Flags or Cedar Point, when I just think amusement park, I think Six Flags and Cedar Point. But when I think Disney World or Disneyland, it's a lot more than that, even though it's rides and, you know, of course they have the movie side and, you know, all that stuff. But they've really done a great job of differentiating themselves, you know, at so many levels. And that's what people need to think about when, you know, developing their plan to get into the cannabis industry and again dominating. Because if you're not going to do it to win, then why do it?